There we go. Okay. So I just hit the record button just so that everybody knows, because we will, I think, be putting this video on display on our website, so that people that missed the meeting can come back. I guess to start off the meeting, my name is Paul Perella. I'm the director of this competition for this year. So what I will do is that to start off, I will put the link to our website in the chat, and I'm also going to put my email in case anyone has any questions later. You can feel free to email me, and I'll try my best to answer your questions. Well, we'll have some time after the little presentation for questions, but in case you think of anything, you have any issues, then you can feel free to email me regarding any questions you might have, okay? But the website's gonna be the most important thing, since that is where everything will be posted. And why don't we go ahead and start with the, let me see. Let's go ahead and start with the presentation. Here we go. All right. Can everybody see that fine? Yes?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. So I don't, all right, perfect. So I don't know what year everybody is and everything, but I'm just gonna give a general presentation, and if at any moment you have a question, feel free to interrupt, and I'll try my best to answer it. So basically, this is going to be the first Blakely Butler competition of this fall, of fall 2020, and yeah, there we go. Let me see. There we go. Yeah. So Blakely Butler is a moot court competition consisting of oral argument and a simple writing component. That means that the competition has two parts. One, for those of you that haven't done moot court competitions before, you have oral argument rounds with that usually has two people per team. So it's you and a partner. And then you argue against a second team that is also two people on an issue and a problem that we will send out to you. So everybody will argue the same problem, and basically it's like a mock trial in appellate court. That is the difference between moot court and mock trial. For those of you that don't know, moot court is basically like the mock trial for specifically appellate courts, meaning that there is no jury, there is no evidence that we argue about. It's purely a legal argument, and you get your points, or basically your team is given points based on how well you argue, how well you cite to the cases, how persuasive your argument is, and so forth. And what you get from participating in this competition is, no matter if you're out in the first round or you make it to the final, you get 1 hour of class credit. There will also be cash prizes for the first two, for the finalists, and I guess the runners up. I'm not the finalists. I mean the winners and the runners up. So spots 1 and 2 will get cash prizes if you do win. The competition is hosted independent of the moot court team by the Advocates organization, and any student is welcome to participate. That is, any 1L through 3L is welcome to participate in the competition. One of the important things that we wanted to note is that last year the winners were actually 1Ls. So if you are a 1L and you're iffy about joining this competition, there's good, precedent to say that you have at least a shot of winning and beating out all us old people. Okay, so the competition occurs annually, and what you get is like, even if you're out in the first rounds, you get 1 credit as long as you complete the oral argument component and the writing component, which will be a short 5-page brief that needs to be turned in sometime later in October, but we'll get to that. So for the schedule and the structure, the competition takes place on Thursday, September 17th through Sunday, September 20th. The first rounds, or the preliminary rounds, start with a 4:45 p.m. check-in on Thursday, and the final rounds of the day will end at 9 o'clock. That doesn't mean that you will be busy from 4:45 to 9. It means that somewhere during that time frame will be when your round takes place. And we automatically will accommodate your classes if you have, especially since I know some people have late Thursday classes or early Friday classes, we can accommodate that. That's one of the reasons why I gave my email. We'll try our best to move it around to where it works with your schedule and you don't have to miss class. So then the Friday preliminary rounds will start at around 11:45 a.m. check-in. So you start arguments at 12, And again, they will end at 8 p.m. That doesn't mean that you will be busy the whole day. It just means that your arguments, I think on Friday, you will have 2 rounds to compete in, and they will be sometime between 12 and 7 p.m. They will start sometime between 12 and 7 p.m. Then later that night, you will receive an email if you make it to the second round, which is the quarterfinals. Then the quarterfinals and semifinal rounds will be on Saturday, and that is September 19th. And the check-in will start at 8:45 a.m. Quarterfinals take place at 9, and the semifinal. Then shortly after the quarterfinals, you will receive a notification, hopefully within an hour of the end of the rounds, whether or not you should show up for the semifinals at 3 p.m. And then the way we planned it out this year is for the finals to actually take place on Sunday at 5 p.m. That way, after the semifinals, the finalists have a little bit more time to prepare for the final round. So again, each team will consist of 2 people that will argue one legal issue. Usually what we do is each speaker on the team, that there's 2 speakers, each speaker argues a different issue of the same case. Each team will have 25 minutes of arguments with 2 minutes for rebuttal on the petitioner side. So that's how it works. You have petitioner versus respondents team. And you as a participant in the competition will argue each side at least once. So for 1 round, you will argue petitioner. And for at least one, you will argue the opposite side, which will be respondent. And yeah, so each team will switch sides at least once. Then the judging, like something that I was alluding to at the beginning of the presentation, each team will be judged on oral advocacy skills, and that is based on the merits of your argument, how persuasive you are, your ability to respond to the questions well, because since this moot court competition is like it's like an appellate trial, the judges at the end, either during your argument or at the end of the argument, can interrupt and ask questions. So you also get points for responding well to these judges' questions. Knowledge of material and courtroom demeanor. And whenever we used to do this stuff in person, courtroom demeanor they used to pay attention to things like if you stand at the podium, if how distracting your movements are. Now that we do it through Zoom, I think your points will be through your professionalism through Zoom, and we can talk about that, I think, in one of the later slides. So the teams must participate in at least 3 preliminary rounds to receive a course credit, and that will be on Thursday evening and Friday. And the plan right now is for there to be 1 round per student on Thursday, and not per student, I'm sorry. The team will compete on 1 round on Thursday and 2 rounds on Friday. And then after you participate in those rounds, then you will receive credit even if you don't move on to the next round. Then the judges will be experienced students, so students that have judged or competed in the various moot court competitions in the past, and members of the legal community. We have or are in the process of getting lawyers that practice here in Houston in the area that are friends of advocates and friends of UH, and also we're trying to get some judges, actual judges, to be judges of this competition. So, and this is really helpful because they're able to offer you practical feedback from practice. As a side note, the reason that I joined Moot Court and also Advocates was because before I started law school, I'm a 3L now, I knew I wanted to be an immigration lawyer. And I went to an immigration hearing before law school where I saw that it was just basically, well, at least in immigration court, it's basically the judge, the attorney for the government, and the attorney for the respondent and the respondent. And then I saw how you basically only talk to the judge. There was nobody else there to help you, no witnesses, no jury. So I did this as a way of me being able to prepare myself to practice. And that is something that I find helpful, that whenever you go out and argue, that you can get helpful feedback from people that are a little bit more experienced. And hopefully that will help you become a better lawyer in the future. Now, Zoom professionalism. So these are a little bit of like, I guess, notes that you can take. This is not something that you're graded on exactly, but if you will be graded on professionalism and your demeanor. Like I said, before it was in the courtroom, now it's through Zoom. So then one of the tips that we give, for example, is to look directly into the camera when you're speaking. I don't do this very well myself. because I tend to look at the images of the people, but then it looks like you're looking down. Like if I look at Chelsea right now, I'm like looking at the bottom of the screen, so it doesn't look like I'm talking to you. One of the tips that I've been told was that you can drag, if you are not in speaker view or if you're in main speaker view, you can drag the little box that shows everybody else's faces up to the top next to the camera. And then you pick one person and try to talk to that person. And that makes, it simulates eye contact, which is what you're looking for. One of the other things is having a professional background. On this, I guess it will be sort of up to the judges how they like it. What I've heard, because some people, and we've had real like actual judges here in Houston recommend that we use the Zoom background if your background is distracting. What I've heard from some other people is that because the Zoom backgrounds cut off your limbs and distort the image a little bit, it's better not to use it. And it's better to try to get like a clear professional background. One of the other things that's a tip that I don't know if I have here is that you try to make the camera, so like to put your laptop on a book or on some kind of little pedestal, to make the camera sort of eye level with you, so it doesn't look like you're above the camera and people are not looking at you from an upwards angle. But your camera will have to be on during the competition. Now, never talk or interrupt the judge, only so like whenever a judge interrupts you, then you remain quiet and then you address the judge's question. Do not bang on desk and podium. I don't think anybody does that, but it is a thing. And you show the judge's respect. Always answer the judge with yes, your honor, no, your honor, or well, your honor, if you're going to sort of contradict what he says and stuff like that. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me later. I kind of just ramble through everything. Now, for scheduling conflicts, the advocates, as advocates, we will do our best to work around the reasonable scheduling conflicts. Like if you have class on Thursday night, or I understand that some of the 1Ls have class on Friday mornings. If I don't know if the class conflicts with our schedule, we are scheduled to start at 11:45. But if it does, and you're a 1L and you have a conflict, then feel free to email us and we will try our best. Like I said, I put my email in the chat. You can feel free to email me and we'll try our best to come up with a solution. So please note scheduling conflicts whenever you sign up. There will be, I think, a spot on the form for you to do so. Oh, the lights turned off. Okay. And coordinate with your partner because only one of you will need to fill out the form, but it will need both of your information like email, stuff like that. So failure to show up on the day of the competition with no warning or advance warning will disqualify your team. That is just one of the disclaimers we want to let you know. And disqualify your team not only from competition, but from receiving the course credit. Now, the problem, which is basically where you get the case that you will argue in this competition, will be released September 9th after 6 p.m. after the registration closes. That will give you about a week and a day, which is pretty, I guess, standard for the competitions I've seen at U of H, to prepare the problem. It will be a closed research assignment, meaning that you will get a problem and the participants are limited to the case list provided and the cases cited within the listed cases, meaning you're not able to do research on yourself and you can't bring in some other cases that you might help or that you think might help into your argument other than all the cases that were provided and the cases that those cases cite. But this actually, at the end, I personally like the closed research assignment because it gives you less work. At least you know exactly which cases you will read and you don't have to spend hours researching the issue, which is what you would do in an open research assignment. Now, the case will include only 2 issues, like I said before, 1 for each team member. And if you start arguing other issues, does not get you additional credit. So we try to follow the instructions as best as you can. Now, the course credit. 4 course credit teams must participate in all the rounds that they advance. So not only in the preliminary rounds, but if you advance to the semifinals, then you have to participate in the semifinals, or advance to the finals, and we ask you to participate in the finals to receive the course credit. Teams will additionally make a good faith effort in all rounds to achieve credit. So I don't think I've ever seen that be a problem. Usually people, some teams are more prepared than others, but it's everyone seems to have done a good faith effort to participate in the competition and all the ones I've seen in the past. So I believe that goes without saying. Then each team must also additionally submit a 5-page brief, Times New Roman, 12-point font, double spaced, by October 5th, 2020. And I say tentative because that is the date that we're giving so far. But if that changes from, I don't know, if that changes, we will let you know. But normally it's about more or less a month after the competition. You have a month to write this brief. You only have to submit one brief per team, and the brief you write in conjunction with your partner. So you don't have to submit two briefs, each 5 pages, but per team, you submit this 5-page brief by this date, and no late submissions will be accepted. The brief consists of a table of authorities citing the cases and maybe regulations or whatever is cited, and the issues presented and the summaries of your arguments, right? And the brief you can choose can be for one side or the other. You don't have to write a brief for both sides. Okay, so then the signups will open today after 6 p.m. We're going to have another 5 p.m. session. And after the session, we on our website, the link that I sent you in the chat, you can log in and sign up. You don't need a partner to sign up, although you should try to make an effort to find a partner. If you really want to participate, but have tried and you find no partner, I think the registration is open until September 9th. So you could also email us, and we might try to put you together with another person that doesn't have a partner. Put you in contact with them to see if you can work it out. There will be cash prizes for first and second place. I don't know how much. Chelsea, do you know how much?
Sorry, I don't know how to unmute myself on an iPad. No, and it's going to depend. We are still trying to also get more sponsors. I am reluctant to say a number. I think it's something like $100 for first. And then that could be up if we get a sponsor, like a corporate sponsor, which we are reaching out to them now. So I think that's like at least for like first place. I think that's our standard amount.
Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, so then we'll give you that number tentatively, and then I guess more information will come in the future once we get it in place. So then the first and second place team will also be honored at the Advocates Banquet in the spring. So again, if you have any questions, I am the competition director. My name is Paul Perella, and you can feel free to email me. I also put the link in the chat. And that sort of concludes my presentation. I did want to let you know that I have a couple of slides put up here. There's some short little tips on how to structure your moot court argument, the best practices in moot court, making the oral outline, additional tips and stuff like that. And you can, but I think we will try to make this PowerPoint available to you after the meeting, and we'll probably post it onto our website tonight. Also, on the Advocates website, you can find more resources on like moot court arguments and stuff like that that might help you. And okay, well that's all I have. Does anybody have any questions for me?
Okay, yeah, and just to reiterate a lot of the stuff that Paul said, this is a really great opportunity for you guys to get some actual real experience to kind of sharpen those advocacy skills, and to get to do it on Zoom, which again is something that we've been really working hard, reaching out to practitioners and judges in the Houston legal market to be able to craft our rounds like how they're doing it in real life over Zoom. So even if you've competed in a competition like this in the past, there are still a lot of value in competing here. And like all the other things Paul said, you get a course credit for competing. There are cash prizes to be won. You get to network with people in the Houston legal market. Like there's a lot of benefit to competing, and we're happy to elaborate on any of those points, to kind of talk to you guys about any of that other stuff. This information is going to be available on our website, which is very conveniently just the advocates at uhlc.org, or you can Google us and it should pop right up. That's also where our registration is going to go live tonight at 6 p.m. It's first come, first served. Like Paul said, we are aiming to have registration open until September 9th, which is whenever the problem's going to go out. But if we fill up the maximum number of slots that we have before then we'll have to close registration early. So I definitely just wanted to make sure everyone's in the know, because in times past, competitions have filled up earlier than that week. And people have, they'd say, gosh, I wish I knew that, it was going to go so quickly. I thought I had the full week. So I'm also just going to throw that out there as well. And it's a good time. It's fun with your friends in suits. So highly recommend, and we're happy to answer any of y'all's questions.
Yeah. I forgot to mention that for professionalism, part of the grade is how you dress. And so they would usually ask us to come in suit or court attire. But just since we're doing Zoom, it has to be at least the waist up. So for guys, you wear a jacket, shirt with a tie. But if you want to wear shorts underneath, we can't tell. It's okay. Then
I think you paused there for a little bit.
Oh, sorry. So yeah, just court attire from the waist up is fine. From the waist down, that's up to you. As long as we can't see. And I think I got a chat from somebody saying that they didn't have my email, so I resent it in the chat. And then other than that, I mean, I encourage you to participate if you're interested. I think that this is a really easy way to earn a credit. You show a good faith effort and everything, but it's fun and it's an easy way to earn a credit. And I know that me and a lot of other people, what they've done is you do competitions and then you sort of accumulate them for 3 years. Then maybe the final semester you can take a lighter course load because you have enough credits to make up for one class or to make up for 2 classes. So yeah, I think it's definitely good. Well, thank you for your interest. And if anybody else has any questions, if not, I guess we can end the meeting. Usually we would buy you lunch and give you Chick-fil-A or something, but through Zoom, we can't really do that. Yeah.
No.
Sorry, I have a question real fast about
Sure.
the fees for the competition. I know last time one person made the payment for both, and I was wondering if it's going to be the same thing this time around.
Yes. Yes, we have options with 3 different pricing combos. If you are an Advocates member, which by the way, you can still join up until forever. From now until the end of the semester, you can join Advocates and get that cheaper price. That's on our website as well. If you go to our website and hit join, you can join. If you are an Advocates member, it only costs $10 for you to register, but if you're not, it's $50. So whenever you go to pay on the website, there are 3 options. There's either a 2 non-member team, which costs $100, a 2 member team, which is $20, and a non-member member combo, which is $60. So those are the 3 options that we have. And again, I recommend joining, just saying, it's worth it.
Okay, but as a follow-up though, can each individual pay separately, or does the payment need to be made by one person upfront?
The payment needs to be made by one person because the way we have our registration is that we get both of your names onto the one form. We only have one place for the PayPal code. So so you guys can pay together and maybe just Venmo the other person. That's how we've done it in the past.
Okay, thank you.
Sure thing. And also, this is all recorded. So if you tell your friend and you're like, oh my God, this sounds so great, and they need more information, send them to our website, because this may not be posted the second after this meeting ends, but it will be posted sometime today or tomorrow. Okay. Well, if no one else has any questions, thank you, Paul. You did an excellent job explaining. And Paul is the man for if you have the questions.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys, and I hope you have a good day. Let me know, like I said, if you have any questions or need anything. Okay. Have a good one.